Say you number one in your city, I just came up in it and I take your place. I cannot mess with these rappers, can you back up?
What's good, Ravens fans? It's your boy JG back with another video reaction. Today we are reacting to Uncle Shay Shay, Skip Bayless, and Undisputed. I'm excited. Again, I like the show. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I like hearing them go back and forth. So it is what it is. This is about Lamar Jackson and his tweet. A little late. Again, you guys know I wasn't here. I was traveling. Sorry. But let's get into it.
Lamar Jackson responding to a report on Twitter that says he turned down $200 million guaranteed back in September. Lamar said no, it was only 3 years and $133 million guaranteed. All right, Skip, let's start with you again.
Okay, so let's just talk about the contract that both of them, right? So I agree with Lamar. I don't think they offered him that $200 million guaranteed. Now, did they offer him guarantees, right? You guys know how the NFL does their players. They have guarantees, right? We're going to call those super guarantees. And in super guarantees, that basically means fully guaranteed, right? The way that the NBA does a guarantee. Fully guaranteed, regardless of what happens. You know, you could get hit by a bus, and as long as you're alive, you'll still get that money, right? Then you have let's call them injury guarantees, right? So you're guaranteed to get this money as long as you don't get hurt, right? For example, if you look at let's just say Patrick Mahomes' contract, he has guarantees in a way that he's guaranteed to get paid for the next year, but he's not guaranteed to get paid at the very end of his contract, right? So let's say Patrick Mahomes plays and he gets hurt. The next year, he's guaranteed to get that money, even if he doesn't play. However, if he doesn't play for 2 years, 3 years, those aren't guaranteed, right? Now, again, so those are fake guarantees. And NFL, every NFL contract has these. And then, of course, you just have non-guarantees, right? Bonuses, stuff like that, right? Just fake money. Not fake money, but you have to earn it. So I believe that contract has a lot of those types of guarantees. He wants the fully super guaranteed, okay? Like Deshaun Watson. Now, does he want $200 million fully guaranteed? I don't know. I would assume yes, because that's in line of what he's worth. But I just don't know. However, I do believe for sure that they offered him 3 years, $133 million fully guaranteed. I do 100% believe him with that. And so I'm excited to see what they're going to say. But I think that was the offer on the table. The $200 million, the other guarantees were probably because of like injury and things like that, right? If you get injured in year 2, we're not going to give you year 4 or 5 money like in the NBA. We're not doing that, right? So that's why I think is the big sticking point there.
What did Lamar's tweet tell you?
Shannon Sharp. The first thing it told me was, no, Lamar, no. Please, no. Mm-hmm. The next thing it told me was that other teams, and I've been covering this league for a long time, and I know how they sheep think about issues. Other teams are going to look at that tweet like a big neon sign up on Twitter that says, stay away from Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. They're going to say, yeah, he's a malcontent. He's a wave maker. He's potential trouble. He is attacking a highly respected reporter that you know very well from your days in Denver, and Adam Schefter. Mm-hmm. And I don't.
So again, I'm gonna be honest. Adam Schefter is BS. Adam Schefter gets insight from the teams, right? Adam Schefter works for the NFL. All you know, everything said what you got to say. He works for the NFL. He's working on behalf of the NFL, right? He's taking their leaks and he's putting it out. There are reporters, and everyone would say this, there are reporters that do it for the players, right? And there are reporters that do it for the league, right? Because everyone wants a source. So that's the truth. Lamar took it a step further and he just tweeted it. Now, again, Skip is right. Teams aren't going to like that. Are those teams right? Should you be penalized for that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think you should, but it is what it is. On top of that, a tweet like this, and if you guys can read it, let me make it bigger for you. 133, 3 years, fully guaranteed. Right? That's the super guarantee I'm talking about. But I need an agent. I mean, you just when you tweet things like that, you're basically saying like, "Hey, the system sucks." And anytime, the system is stupid. I don't need the system. Now, if I'm Lamar, do I take that contract? I might. That's a lot of money. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I'm not Lamar. Over 40
Don't know
a
what
year.
the truth is.
Sorry about that. Struggle streaming. Over 40 a year, I might take that. But I think if he can have that over 5 years is what he wants. That's what he really wants. But that's still a good amount. Okay. Now he will be penalized for that. And so I do think Skip is right that he may be going to get hurt. And then, right, another team is going to see that and say, "Oh, we can't be the sucker and give him 150 million over 3 years, because then we'll be the losers. We've lost to him, right?" And this, again, league is like that sometimes, guys. So, but yeah, let's get back to what they got to say.
Is about what Adam tweeted or what Lamar tweeted. I don't know. I don't even know what the message is. I don't even know how to decipher the numbers that he threw up there on Twitter. 133 for 3 years, fully guaranteed. But I need an agent, says Lamar in his tweet. Shannon, unfortunately, yes, you do. Because this would be precisely the place that the agent would speak for you to the media. The agent would have said, no, those numbers are wrong. He would be the bad guy. He would take the fall for you. He would say, no, I'm sorry. I love Adam Schefter, but he's wrong about this because it was actually closer to X, Y, and Z. You need a middleman. You need somebody to be negotiating with your team and with the media for you to your team. And unfortunately, Lamar's trying to do it all by himself with emojis. And emojis, it comes across as immature. It's not the lead. Remember, he wants to be paid like the face of the franchise. And he deserves to because he has earned that much money. But you have to show some leadership. You can't do on Twitter what you did when that one fan came at you and you went back at him profanely. Other teams are saying, really? You want me to pay you $230 guaranteed million over 5 years, and that's how you act? You're childlike on Twitter. This has some childlikeness to it, where you're saying, come on, grow up a little bit. What exactly are you saying? I don't know. What's your point? Well, he's saying that probably the Ravens are putting out misinformation through Adam. That's his point. And you know what? That could very well be true. I'm not blaming Adam because I love Adam for this, but he can be a prisoner of what he is told, and maybe that's what they are telling him.
100% agree with that. That's what they're telling him. And another thing I don't like too is just because the agent isn't. This is a weird thing, right? Just because the agent isn't someone who is cool with everybody else doesn't mean they're not an agent, right? The agent is a job. Lamar's mom is his agent, right? Now, for some reason, however they choose, I'm sure Lamar has a piece of this. Lamar's mom is not in the media like another agent would be. She don't got the connections, so that is a big deal. But who cares? Who cares? If Lamar wants to represent himself, who cares? What is Lamar worth? How much should he get? Now, again, it doesn't help when you attack someone who other teams are cool with, because, again, Adam Schefter works for these teams. He doesn't get paid by them. But the information that he gets is coming from them. There's no doubt that number came from the Ravens. No doubt. So if that number came from the Ravens, right, then why are we so hung up that Lamar is saying something? Because we know any other number has to come from Lamar. He doesn't have an agent, right? So why are we so hung up about him saying it on Twitter versus him saying it to Adam Schefter? Come on now. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
The point is, it's all so misguided. And yet, the Ravens have shamed him so much that, was he a malcontent last year? Yes, he was. But I reported that I heard from a player behind the scenes, He would barely participate in their offensive meetings. I don't blame him for that. I've defended him for that because they started it and he's finishing it. They won't pay him for literally and sort of effectively dying for their cause. He gave them his blood. He gave them his body and his soul, and they won't treat him equitably the way that a franchise quarterback should be treated after he won an MVP award. So to me, Lamar keeps going on Twitter, making himself look worse and worse when he doesn't deserve to look. He's actually in the right here. I think you believe it, and I believe it. He deserves his money. And if I'm another team, I try to look through this. I try to look past it. It would give me call.
And guys, the thing I like about football the most, and I tell everyone this, when my girlfriend asked me about, well, she's my fiance now, so sorry about that. When my fiance asked me about, kids and stuff, and I said, I want my kid to play some team sport, right? I prefer to be football, but, it is what it is. Football is dangerous, so it is what it is. A little too much in my personal life. But point being is that football teaches lessons, right? And the lesson here, guys, is that it doesn't matter what you do in the past, right? You're going to have to defend the past, and everyone else is going to be trying to defend the future, right? You can be the greatest employee at your job, and you can do everything for that job, right? But if your boss disrespects you and you say, hey, man, you can't disrespect me like that. Oh, well, now you're a malcontent. And then you're going to say, what do you mean I'm a malcontent? Look at my past. And they're going to say, well, it seems like you changed. Okay, that's what it is. And so you always gotta be thinking that. Lamar's young, so of course he gets on Twitter and just thinks, I'm saying what the truth is. I'm telling you what I feel. However, they're gonna see that, like Skip says, Skip's not wrong. They're gonna see that as him being malcontent, and doing all these bad things. Only because it's on Twitter. That's the only reason. Because it's flashy the way he's doing it. Right? Now, if you want to deflate footballs, okay, fine. If you want to, be Aaron Rodgers and get your head coach fired and leaking all that stuff to the media, which he did with Mike McCarthy, that's a fact. And I like Aaron Rodgers, but he did that. You want to be a mean guy and do immature pranks like Peyton Manning? Definitely happened. He got his money, right? So, it's just about can you keep it hush hush? And that's something that Lamar doesn't have yet, keeping that stuff hush hush.
Pause, but I would try to say, wait a second. Lamar is available for 2 first-round picks. I could change my life. I could potentially go win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson if I just pay him the going rate for a franchise quarterback. I have to give up my 2 firsts. I'm doing it. I can't believe nobody's jumped to do it. But again, he unmakes his own case by continuing to go on Twitter with lots of emojis and mysterious sort of cryptic.
So I'm going to jump in real quick. That's a little disingenuous that no team is jumping at the chance. The truth is that no team is going to jump at the chance because they all working together. All the owners, and I'm going to say this, I don't care what you guys say. It might not be illegal collusion, right? Again, you got to kind of, but all the teams, you can look at a person that you work with and go like, hey, we in this together, right? You don't got to say specifically we're in this together, right? But it's no way that Jerry Jones hasn't talked to his best owner friend and Bisciotti hasn't talked to his best owner friend, and those owners talk to each other, and and then everyone's like, hey, they're not saying don't pay Lamar. What they're saying is we don't want fully guaranteed contracts. What they're saying is that, hey, we're getting a little too close to this player empowerment stuff that the NBA has. Let's work together, but not together, right? That's what they're saying. And it's obvious because there's no way, and I've pointed this out to you guys before, there's no way the Atlanta Falcons would sell every single ticket if they had Lamar Jackson, they would be a better football team. They would sell out all their seats, their jerseys. That city loved Mike Vick, okay? And again, not going to get too political here, but when it comes to cities that are viewed as as viewed as successful or prosperous black cities, Atlanta is number one. Atlanta's number one. Why would they not make an offer? Number two is Washington, D.C. Why would they not make an offer? This doesn't make any sense. Now, again, Dan Snyder is in his own little thing. And I think that, he's just trying to keep his team or whatever. But it just makes no sense. Some teams that don't have cap space, I understand. The Houston Texans can jumpstart their franchise. They can put their franchise in Houston, guys, in Houston. You would sell every ticket and you don't even have to be good. It makes no sense financially. And when it doesn't make sense financially, there's other motives because we know how much the NFL loves their money. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make
quotes
sense.
That are hard to decipher and make you stroke your chin and say, man, I don't know. Maybe he's not that guy.
Well, that's why I took the different approach to you. I can't decipher anything, and I'm not trying to because I don't do the coded tweets. Until I see Lamar Jackson sign or the Baltimore Ravens have traded him, Skip, it's becoming tedious, to say the least, about what Lamar is doing. Skip, this is why, when you're on trial and you go, what did your attorney tell you? Don't say a word. Let me do the talking.
Yeah.
That's what Lamar should do. Let someone else do it. Let your mom talk for you.
Okay.
If that's your representative, you hired your mom, let her talk.
I agree.
Okay, so I just said, I don't watch these videos. I really don't. It's the first time I'm reacting to it with you guys. I said the same thing. Your mom's the agent. You kind of do have to, if you're calling yourself the agent, you kind of got to get out there, right? So that's on Lamar right there. If your mom is the agent, then you got to get out there. If she's not the agent, you're representing yourself, then you have to get out there, and that's what he's doing. So
the information that they put out there is not true. I'm not doing no emojis. I'm not doing this, skipping. And also in law that says you can represent yourself, but any man or woman that represents themselves have a fool for a client.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
that's what they say.
Lamar, you can do all this what you want to, but I'm telling you, now you haven't heard anything. But if you have what they said about you, they might be in the same ballpark as a lot of other teams are saying about you. And for people to say, oh, that wouldn't bother me, bull jive. Somebody say the most about your ability, because this is what this is based on. They're going to pay you about your ability moving forward.
Yeah.
And they say you can't. You're not this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to bother you. Because even though you might end up getting your money, you know what they think of you. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, oh, that's how you feel about me. And so this is why, Skip, I'm not saying he could have got X amount. He might get 15 million more. He might get 30 million more. I'm saying you need the middleman to hear all the things that you don't need to.
Yep.
That's what they can negotiate. They've been doing this a lot longer than you. Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to believe that somebody is a novice as his mom and he into the negotiating business can do as good a job as someone that's been doing it for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. If you want to save a few $1 million, that's you. I'm not going to tell you what you should or what you shouldn't do. Mm-hmm. But I just believe if you want to pay the attorney an hourly rate, says I'm only going to pay you while you work and I'm not going to give you a flat fee, that's cool too. Mm-hmm. But Skip, fully guaranteed, 133, but I need an agent, crying, laughing, put his hand over his head. Mm-hmm. What is that about? At the end of the day, Skip, as you and I sit up here, we have an idea of Lamar's value. It seems to me, as we sit here on, what's today, the 14th? As we sit here on the 14th, there are not a lot of other teams that's in our camp. We might think we might be the two only guys that's on an island, or a few other people, but we don't own a team. No. He needs one team that says, you know what? We believe in you, Lamar. Yeah. We believe what you believe. And we're willing to give up the two first-round picks, and we're willing to give you the guaranteed money. Skip, I just don't believe that he's going to ever get the fully guaranteed contract that Deshaun got, because 31 other owners believe this is a bad contract. Mm-hmm. They believe fully guaranteeing contracts. They're not going to start that precedent. Mm-hmm. They're going to try to kick this can down the road. And unfortunately, Skip, Lamar Jackson is about to be the test case.
He followed up with the second tweet.
So 100% right, and that's just the sad truth, is that he's not going to get a fully guaranteed contract. It's not happening. No owner wants to do that. No owner wants to be the one that put the nail in the coffin. You know, they're fine saying the Browns are stupid, but they're not willing to they're not willing to do that. And it's a shame because I do think NFL players of any player should have a fully guaranteed contract. Especially the quarterback, which is the most important position in all of sports. It's the only position that dominates the game as much as it does. It's the reason why it's the only sport where no other position can win MVP because they dominate it so much. In basketball, all 5 positions can win MVP. Okay, baseball, all 5 positions can win MVP. Oh, not 5. Sorry, a lot of them. I don't know. Sorry, going through it. All 9 positions can win MVP, I think. What happens when your best players, the most important players, can't get guaranteed contracts? That means no one gets them, and then that kills the entire issue for another 20 years. So Shannon's right here. So
People throw poop emoji at the wall and hope it stick. Okay, so I reiterate, he is publicly attacking a man that knows every owner, every GM, every head coach, and Adam Schefter, highly respected. I got nothing but respect. I've worked alongside him. I know how he works.
I know him very well.
You know him very well. Lamar, it's bad PR to do this publicly. It's not worth it to you because this does become somewhat of a PR battle because the Ravens keep putting the ball back in Lamar's court.
Correct.
Oh, well, we're doing this.
Because if that's true, people are like, hold on. Man, trying to give Lamar Jackson $44 million and $45 million a year, and he said no.
Yeah, that's 3 for 133 is $44 million.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said no to that. Normally, what have we seen, Skip? In striking 82, striking 87, fans always side with the owners.
They do.
They're always going to take the side of the billionaires over the millionaires.
Because everybody tried to play the game at some level, and they say, you get to play this game?
And you make that kind of money?
Whew.
And what did they show, Skip? They will go watch the Scabs. Those fans went and watched Scabs. They never heard of those guys. Some of them was able to stay and make an honest little and stay in the league. But a lot of these guys never played another down. And guess what? These fans still showed up to watch them. And the owners know it.
I was there. I was there for a Monday night game at Dallas. The Washington, what they used to be called team, coached by Joe Gibbs, was all Scabs. All Scabs beat a bunch of Cowboy veterans who had walked the picket line.
Yeah. I remember Skip, and actually we had a guy from our team, Savannah State, Bobby Curtis, that ended up playing, and he won the Super Bowl. Everybody got a ring. That was in 80. That was in 87. But I just don't know what Lamar gets by doing this. Just remain radio silent. And when you're able to give some information, I'm signing with the Ravens or I've been traded, well, they'll put the trade out before you will. Because Adam Schefter or somebody will have it before you have it.
They will. Man, so misguided.
I just don't get what he... When fans see that kind of money, Skip, it's just hard for a lay fan to side with an athlete, even though the owner Jerry Jones worth $18 billion, and Steve Bisciotti is probably worth $4 or $5 billion.
I'm sure he is.
It's just hard for a casual fan, somebody that works a 9 to 5, and trying to make ends meet to empathize. Bro, you got $44 million. All you got to do is sign your name, and you get $44 million, and you want me to feel sorry for you.
And you don't even have to.
Okay, all right, man. I mean, not wrong, guys. They're not wrong, and it's sad. We all want him to get it. He's not going to get it. So we'll see. Again, they're also right. The owners know 2 things. Owners know that football is the only sport where the loyalty of the team trumps everything else, especially in places like DC, where they're still Redskins fans, even though the team is terrible. Okay? There's, the Cowboys, they say they're going to win Super Bowl every year. ain't won one in a long time. The fans still think they're going to win a Super Bowl every year. Ravens, we've been good for a long time, so it's hard, to get how we're going to be if we're down for 10 years. But it's just, they know that. That's the first thing. And the second thing is they also know that fans, who is the only people who may have more interest in the players, right? Because again, regardless of what you say, other players don't care about other players' money. They do not. Other players will not take pay cuts to make sure other players get paid, and we've known that because we've seen what happens in the collective bargaining agreements. We know that the NFL just will hold out on the CBA because the players at the bottom who only make $400,000. When I say only, $400,000 is a lot. Listen, I wish I made that. But they know that those players, they spend $350,000 every year, so they don't really got that much in savings. And so they're like, hey, NFLPA, you're gonna let, again, remember, in the NFL, only 20% make the big bucks, right? And the career is only 3 years long on average. So you're gonna let 80% of your players go hungry to make sure Lamar gets a fully guaranteed contract? Because 80% of your players will never, ever even have a chance to get one. So you really going to do that? And then the players are like, nah, I'm not going to do that. So the fans are the only people who have a vested interest because they love the Lamar so much. But a fan sees what like I said, 3 years, $133 million guaranteed. Fans like, bro, you play football, a sport that you love, and you're going to turn that down? I make $50,000 throwing bricks. Not throwing bricks, stacking bricks on things, right? In construction. I make $45,000 teaching these bad bleeping kids, okay? So, the owner's got the power here, and I think they're going to win. So that's sad, but it is what it is. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks, and go Ravens.
I'm number one in this race. Lyrics burning like it's mace. Doing shows, I change up my flow. My talent is something that you can't erase. Say you number one in your city, I just came up in it and I take your place.